Hey, Mama. Welcome back to the birth experience. I'm Trish, your favorite birth geek and labor nurse bestie. And today we're going to be talking about second trimester testing. This is going to be a short, little, sweet, helpful podcast episode because I want you guys to understand what is actually happening in your appointments and feeling like the queen that you are. If you're in your second trimester or about to be, make sure you go to labornursemama.com/2, just 2, labornursemama.com/2 to grab my second trimester prep pack or head to the show notes. It's packed with what you need to know to stay on top of it all without the overwhelm. We also have one for first trimester and third trimester. You can find them all in the show notes. So let's talk about the second trimester. You usually see your provider every 4 weeks. And even though you're feeling more like yourself again, hopefully, at least for me, when I was pregnant, and I was pregnant a lot, yeah. If you're new here, I have 7 kids, 1 adopted, been pregnant a lot. I've had a few losses. So when I hit the second trimester, minus Lainey, goodbye nausea. Now with Lainey, I was sick to the moment that child exited my body. And I remember after I delivered her, I was like, something's weird. And then I realized it was because I didn't feel sick. I've been sick for so long with her. And I was in nursing school, you guys. For those of you in the medical field, you're going to love this. I sat for my boards on Friday and had Lainey on Monday. Okay, so I digress. Let's talk about what we're talking about. These second trimester visits are just as important and maybe even more because we are wanting to make sure that you and the baby are thriving. So here's what to expect at every visit. You're going to have your weight and blood pressure checked. They'll dip your urine to look for protein and glucose. They're going to listen to your sweet little baby's heartbeat with the Doppler, which never stops being magical. Like, am I right? It's magical. You have an actual human being inside of you. You have 2 heartbeats right now. They're also going to measure your belly, which we call your fundal height. This is checking on baby's growth and to make sure baby's growing like a little rock star. Around 18 to 22 weeks, you'll also start talking about fetal movement. And I just have to tell you, feeling those little kicks is like the most sweet memories. Oh my goodness. It's like a little fluttery jellyfish or a goldfish inside of there. Or like if you don't want to be as sweet as goldfish, it's like gas bubbles. But it's such an important sign that this little baby is doing well. Now, once the movement becomes regular, which is usually a third trimester, end of second, beginning of third, you're going to be able to judge for yourself. Like, is this baby doing well? Is this baby well oxygenated? Okay, so let's talk about the tests. We're going to talk about the big ones. The first one is the multiple marker screening, which is sometimes called the triple screen or the quad screen. This is usually done between 16 and 18 weeks with just a simple blood draw. It checks for certain proteins and hormones that could signal things like Down syndrome, trisomy 18, or neural tube defects. Now, listen. I want you guys to listen, and I know if this happens, you're not going to listen, but I want you to have this in the back of your brain. If this test comes back abnormal, it does not mean something is wrong. It just means we need more information. So if it does come back abnormal, they may offer an amniocentesis, a high-level ultrasound, or non-invasive blood testing to be able to get a better picture. Next, you might be screened again for STIs or STDs if you're considered higher risk. It's just a blood draw, it's quick and easy, and it's there to protect you and baby. We're also going to check in on you emotionally. Your provider might ask you how you're feeling, how you're sleeping. Are you struggling with anxiety or depression? This is not the time to be like super queen champ. If you are, please let them know there's zero shame. Like, your hormones are out of control, girl. You might not be sleeping. There might be a lot going on. If you're having a tough time, talk to your provider because there's so much support if you need it. Let's also talk about the 20-week anatomy scan, which I know you are waiting for. It's the best thing ever. This is the big one. It's a detailed ultrasound where they measure baby's organs, the bones, the brain, the cord, the placenta, the whole works. And it's when you can find out the sex of the baby if you haven't already. And I have to say, One of my most favorite things that I was never able to accomplish myself is waiting to find out the baby's gender. When my patients or my students don't and they wait for a surprise, I am so stinking excited. You guys, I would stay hours after my shift, or I would get up to go pee in the middle of the night and call my friend at the nurse's station to see what the baby was. I'd always ask for permission, but I always wanted to know. Like, I couldn't do it myself, though. I'll just be honest. Be prepared, though. You're going to be at this ultrasound for a while, sometimes up to an hour, hour and a half. And if baby does not corroborate, that can make it even longer, and you might even have to come back. If they see anything they want to double check, it doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. It usually just means they need more information, and more information is always better. The next test we're going to talk about is the GTT test, the glucose tolerance test. I almost stumbled on that one. And this is the test that everyone is dreading and hates. It's the 1 hour glucose tolerance test. It's usually between 24 and 28 weeks. And here's how it works. You go in, you drink a super sugary drink called the G Cola, which is disgusting. It's like orange soda without the carbonation. You can also ask for the lemon lime one. From what my students have told me, they like it better. Then you're going to wait 1 hour and they'll take your blood to see how your body handles that sugar overload. If you fail the 1 hour test, you'll move on to a 3 hour test, which is a little longer and involves fasting beforehand. If you're diagnosed with gestational diabetes, here's the deal. You'll work with a dietitian, you'll monitor your blood sugar at home, and you may need medication, but lots of mamas manage it with diet and light exercise, and you'll be called diet controlled. And your care team will keep a closer eye on you and on baby's growth, maybe even a few extra ultrasounds. Now, by the way, if you're dreading the glucose drink, there are alternatives, but talk to your provider ahead of time. There's things like you can eat 28 jelly beans, which would be really hard to do quickly, 16 ounces of orange juice. You can also monitor your own blood sugar at home. And there's also a test called the Fresh test that you can consider taking into the appointment. But just talk to your provider ahead of time and see if they are okay with those options. The other thing I want to say is if you are diagnosed as gestational diabetes and you're listening to this podcast, hit the show notes because I'm going to link to the gestational diabetes nurse that I 100% recommend, because sometimes you're diagnosed and then they don't give you any information for weeks and it will drive you insane. So click that link in the show notes. Mama, I want you walking into every appointment feeling educated, empowered, and ready. You don't have to know it all. You just have to trust yourself, get educated, ask the questions, and remember, you're allowed to advocate for what feels right for you and your baby. This is your body. This is your body, girl. And if you want even more second trimester support, click the link in the show notes. I got checklists, prep tips, all the stuff no one tells you. And if you really want to dive in, now I recommend y'all jump into the birth courses now. Don't wait. The sooner the better. You'll be able to hang out with me. We do 2 to 3 pregnancy happy hours per month where I get on Zoom with you and answer your questions directly. You can go to labornursemama.com/calm, CALM, because that's what you're going to be. Now, I am so happy that you're here. I'm so excited that you're in the second trimester. You're doing amazing, and I'm so dang proud of you. I can't wait to chat with you guys inside the courses. If you have any questions, send me a DM on Instagram, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.